Hi, I'm Scott Gansky, Vice President of Education at YSA. Really excited here to share this amazing opportunity, the National Gold Ribbon Schools and Service Learning. Really excited to celebrate and recognize the amazing schools out there who are putting students in a position to create change in their community, linking it to the academics, and really excited to see what wonderful things are happening across the country. So a big thing that we're going to talk about today is just giving you an overview. We know that 3 out of 4 students are left out of volunteering, and we want to make sure that we're providing opportunities, service learning experiences where students are able to provide, where they're able to plan a project from beginning to end, and really just providing those uh, opportunities to link it to what they're learning in the classroom, and just making sure that they're giving credit and being recognized and having those opportunities to reflect. And so it's really, as a school, a system, making sure that all of the students are getting those same types of opportunities. A big article that came out last year from the CDC, which was a pretty big deal in the service learning field, was they came up with some recommendations on school connectedness and how students, the types of things that students can do, to reduce negative health outcomes. One of those areas was service learning opportunities. So we know the impact that it can have on a student's mental health and in a positive way. And so the more that schools are doing that, the better we can help lift students. So there's sometimes a misconception about what the definition is of community service and service learning. Sometimes people will call it the same thing, but there are quite a few differences. When we look at community service, we think of something that's usually structured as a single event or a day of service. A lot of times there isn't, the youth are not really involved in the planning. It's usually adult-led, and often it doesn't provide that intentional, reflective element that's so important throughout the process. But it is an amazing opportunity to for students to have like really an on-ramp for a life of service. So we love community service, but one of the things that we really try to encourage is service learning because it's that opportunity for students to really be involved in the investigation stage. It gives educators a chance to integrate it with the classroom and what they're teaching, the objectives of what students are learning. There's that reflection throughout, and really the students are involved in that planning process. So we know that schools that do that have a much more of an impact where you're going to see things like better attendance, better test scores, better behavior. And those are, you want to make sure that you're strengthening, but you also want to lift the students up and give them that opportunity. So that's really the big difference here between those two. And a lot of schools across the country or globally really are taking projects. Sometimes a beginning start for many of them is just doing a basic project like a canned food drive, for example, and thinking, what would that look like as a service 2.0? How could you involve students in collecting data or doing analysis about what kind of food is being collected? Is it nutritious enough? Maybe students, so that's that research and investigation. Maybe they're looking at partner organizations. Maybe they're starting to think about ways in which they can have more of an impact on policy within the state or awareness or advocacy type campaigns. So you look through those basic things that are happening and you put students in a position to think of how things could strengthen throughout the school. And so a lot of times what we work with schools on, and this is just to get you in that mindset, is that before, during, and after. So the beginning of the project, students are investigating, teachers are integrating it into what they're learning in the classroom. They're mapping out community resources. They're thinking about all the different things that other people are doing and really putting a magnifying glass behind that issue. And then during the project, obviously, that's that preparation and planning, getting the students to collaborate, work together, use those critical thinking skills to start thinking about, okay, how are we going to plan a project in maybe a short amount of time with maybe no money to support what we're doing? And you can do a project without money, absolutely. And then, of course, after the project, after they've created that community change and after they've learned and integrated it into what they're learning in the classroom, reflecting, of course, throughout the whole process, demonstrating that impact that it made on themselves and their community, and of course, celebrating as well as, what they were able to accomplish with partners, with their classmates, with their teachers, and the entire school, and of course, sustainability and thinking what that could look like in the future. So looking at this National Gold Ribbon Schools and Service Learning, we have an application deadline of March 20th, and essentially that's the deadline to submit the application. If you want to nominate someone, we'll show you that process as well. But who can apply? So the eligibility here is that it's open to US K through 12 school districts. It could also be a charter school network, a private school system, or any sort of multi-school system. Just want to be clear here that individual schools cannot apply. So the application must be submitted by a district or system leader. So, for example, maybe someone from the central office. So if you're a student or you're a teacher or a parent or a community partner and you're listening to this, that's fine. There is actually an opportunity for you on the website to be able to submit a nomination. And so I'll show you that in a second. But looking at the big program timeline, it opens January 20th and the deadline is March 20th. If you want to submit a nomination, that deadline will be February 20th. So that way the school has the school system has an opportunity to, a month there to be able to submit the application. The notifications will go out on April 21st. That's for Global Youth Service Day. And then we'll be talking to, about press releases and all the different things that will go out to recognize the wonderful school systems across the country. So again, we talked earlier about what service learning is, but we really want to we want to see which school systems, school districts across the country are leading, have leading initiatives, making sure that students are collaborating with community partners, all the things that really are essential in meaningful service learning and youth empowerment. And we just want to make sure that we're creating active citizens and that students are really involved, and that they're getting credit if you have a service requirement within your school, that they're getting credit for planning, not just showing up to serve, but really being involved in the entire process. So, as I mentioned earlier, if you're not an eligible administrator, you can nominate. So you would just put the name of the school here, and this is on the website, ysa.org/schools. So then you would just put your name, your email address, then you would put obviously what your role is, whether you're a student, teacher, parent, or organization or other. And then you would want to put the name of the person at the administrative level within the school system who would be filling out that information. So once you complete this, you also want to answer, why does this school district system deserve to be recognized? Just 300 words or less, just talk to them a little bit about, write a little bit about what that would look like. Why do you think that they would deserve that honor? And once you do that and you hit submit, an email will automatically go out to this person that is an administrator within the school system saying that you nominated them, why you nominated them, and it'll have a direct link to the application. Speaking of the application, this is what they will see. Now, if you are an administrator already and you're listening to this, you don't need to be nominated. You can apply right away. You can just click on that apply button on ysa.org/schools and you'll go right to the application. You'll see there's an option up here to save your progress and resume later. So you want to make sure that you do that if in fact you do want to save and finish later. There is a PDF copy of the application if you want to look at that as well, but we always recommend backing things up. As far as the purpose, we talked about that earlier, just really making sure that we're, celebrating and recognizing school systems, school districts, school networks that are creating a culture of service. As far as the eligibility, again, we talked about that earlier. It can be a K through 12 school district, a charter school system, private school system, or really any multi-school system. and making sure that it's not an individual school. So as far as who can apply, again, you do not need to be nominated if you to apply if you are eligible and you are an administrator. However, you can nominate, and essentially you don't, this is a big deal too. You don't have to address every single area in the application. Of course, we hope, you'll cover as many of those as possible, but you could still be recognized if you didn't cover all of them. So applications will be evaluated, at three different levels if you are selected for this recognition. So either the bronze, silver, or the gold level would be the area if you were able to address the majority of those 8 areas, which we'll go over in a second. So the next page, you've got your section 1, school district system network information. So you're putting in the name of your school system, school district, school network, of course, your contact information, what your title is. That way we have that information to reach out to you. Then, of course, we talk about when you're completing this, we tried to make it as simple as possible for you. So for each area, you either answer yes, no, and then of course you provide, if you say yes, it'll open up, we'll show in a second, a 200 words or less, then you'll get an opportunity to put some optional evidence upload, which could be some documents that contribute to your answer. And then there's also an opportunity to provide links if you'd like to do that as well. Those are optional. So again, like I said, you do not need to address every area, but we hope that you will highlight your strengths of what you're doing. And again, it does not save automatically, so you would have to click on Save Your Progress, and we always recommend backing everything up just in case. So as you will see, this is one of the 8 that's covered. Very simple process. If you were to answer yes, like in this case, it says, does your school district system empowers students to lead service learning projects from investigation through reflection? So beginning to end, right? Let's say you put yes here, you could have in 200 words or less, just explain how are students driving every stage of service learning? And then of course you have your optional evidence. So you will choose a file or and then you can do it one at a time. If you see right here on the right, it's add another response. So if you add a document, you can add up to 5 documents. And then if you would prefer, maybe you have something on a shared folder or some sort of a link on your website, you can put a link there that will help as well. Then here are the other ones. And again, if you answer yes, it'll expand out for you automatically. If you answer no, you could just skip right to the next question. So curriculum integration, we talk about access. Are you providing access for students, to make sure that all students within your school system have access? We have a question about social emotional learning, making sure that empathy, collaboration, and leadership are built in. We have another question about community partnerships. How are you working with organizations or businesses to make sure that they're really a partner in working with students as they plan these projects? And then the other 3 are after school and summer engagement. So really, what does it look like beyond the school day? What are we looking at during the out of school time for students, making sure that opportunities exist? Recognition systems. So how does your district or system recognize and celebrate what students are doing to create change, or really in general, just what are they doing with that effort to plan a project from beginning to end? A lot of times we like to say it's the process, not the product. It really is that student being involved in the entire process. And then finally, are there any sustaining initiatives within your school system? Just looking at that to give us an idea if there's a plan to sustain or grow service learning, gives us an idea of really how committed you are as a school system, school district, school network in doing that. So once you hit submit, it'll go through, you'll get a confirmation email, and then we will have that time period to review really from March 20th until April 21st, when we will make our announcements. So this was a general walkthrough. Again, you can go on our website. My name is Scott Gansky again, and you can always reach out to me if you have any questions at sganske@ysa.org. Thank you so much for your time, and we cannot wait to see those applications come in. Have a wonderful day.